Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Whenever you are watching hockey fans, this is a big one. The NCDC, all Dan K and all Lucas J teams are ready to be selected now. Before I introduce in the other man here, the other half of the Dan K show, I want to let you know that we flipped a gigantic coin. I can't get it for you right now, just wouldn't fit in the screen. But we normally flip a coin before this one, just majestic, the majesty. 75 feet in circumference. This thing took 17 people to flip. I called heads. It didn't actually flip over. It started on heads, landed on heads. I kind of had some insider trading. Dan K is going to get the first pick here. But with that, we get the man who picked second on today's all Dan K, all Lucas J team squads. My right-hand man, Mike Consigliere. Mon Frere from another Mayor, Lucas Jones. What's going on, babe?
Normally I would ask you how much of our budget did you blow on things like, giant coins or, some other nonsensical thing. But I think at this point I know well enough to just say, you know what? At least the budget's there for your whimsical schemes. You're like the Peter Griffin of spending money. I'm expecting a Dan copter anytime soon. But I will say this, the majesty and the spectacle of a 75 feet in diameter coin flip is probably the only way that you can really get prepared in the right mindset to try to pick the All Dan K Show teams for the NCDC.
Yeah, I mean, I was Scrooge McDuckin in the pool. I had a whole bag, a satchel of coins, and I said, could I make this one big coin? So I'll tell you what, 75 foot in circumference coin, and it costs a lot of normal coins. I would say that it was not a good trade on my part, but worked for the flip. First picks. So the way these teams will work, NCDC fans, we are picking our best of the best, similar to the All Madden team back in the day. And I suggest you go watch that documentary, All Madden, if you get a chance. These aren't just the guys who lit up the stat sheet. These are our guys who, from the NCDC, from the Premier and the Elite in our past episodes, you can go back and watch. We're picking our team, right? These are the guys that we watched all season long that stood out to us as the best of the best, as the guys we would want to build our NCAA Division I roster with. Lucas and I will pick a GMU-fueled starting lineup brought to you by GMU Sport. Go to gmusport.com today to find out more about the best in the business. We have some incredible offers and deals for you at the_DanK Show, www.dankshow.com. That was not too many W's. Perfect. That's always a dangerous one. Go there to find out more about GMU Sport today, or just go straight to the source, gmusport.com. You'll have your starting lineup, 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, 1 goalie, a head coach, a broadcaster, and an owner. We will then pick 9 more forwards, 4 more defensemen, 2 more goalies, and 2 extra skaters to help us out with not missing out on anybody. I'm sure we will still miss out on plenty. Let's start. Lucas, I get the first picks. I had the opportunity with winning the coin toss to either go second and get 5 consecutive picks, 3 forwards and 2 defensemen. But I couldn't let this guy go by. The MVP of the NCDC season, Patrick's Marcinkovic. He is just that good of the Jersey Hitman. I got to build a line with him, and I could do the easy one. I could make the Marcinkovic line, right? I could put Dom here. But I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give you Dom. I'm going to let you have Dom because I'm going to go to my MVP of the NCDC this year. This guy, I think, took his team from a squad that could have had a strugglesome year with a lot of turnover, a lot of new players coming in, with all the commitments, with everything they did to move guys on to the next level, and the incredible work of Coach Kersner. The Baron Woodring. I always feel like there should be a Vaughn in the middle there. Baron Von Woodring. It would sound really cool. But I'll tell you what, the ring to this guy's name, it's goal scoring and pucks ring in the back of the net. I got to put one more guy with this group. Marcinkovic, the big man in Woodring in the middle. Who do I want to put on the other side juxtaposed to these two? How about the artist? Chikara Hanzawa heading to Sacred Heart University. We got an LIU guy. We got the Woodring. We got Chikara Hanzawa. This is my top forward line for All Day and K.
That's an incredible forward line, honestly. You look at some of the stats they put up. I mean, obviously Patrick's being the MVP of the league, but Baron Woodring, combining the size and skill, right? He's almost like the size of a defenseman with the skill of a forward into one person. And, you keep going down the list, and I think Hanzawa there, what a player, what a talent, the ability to move in and out of defenses, to knife through any kind of defensive front. Just when you put the puck on his stick, good things happen.
Now let's hear your forward line, Lucas. I gave you Dom, so I got to imagine you're going to take him if he's still there because this guy was putting up 2.09 points per game, the most in the NCDC.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take Dom here. We got to split up the Marcinkovi a little bit. They're too used to playing together. Now they got to play
Yep.
split apart here. I'm gonna take him. An incredible season for him. 31 goals, 40 assists, 71 points in total, 21 points in the power play. I'm gonna add with him a guy that I know you have loved. I have loved for this year and last year as well. Spencer Corona.
Yes.
Just an incredible talent from the Pal Junior Islanders organization, a leader through and through. 56 points. He's the assist guy. 45 assists on the season. I love that. I love having a dedicated, a big time assist guy in my line. But now I got to come up with someone who can match Hanzawa. I gotta find someone who can match up the speed, who can match up the handles. Go Johnny, go. Johnny Wesco is going to be the third guy on my top forward line.
That's a heck of a pick right there. Spencer Corona, Lucas, in his NCDC, in his Pal Junior Islanders NCDC career, 112 assists, 30 goals for 142 points. Want to know a really cool stat for this guy? He stays out of the box too. 142 total points in 4 seasons in the NCDC. And I got to imagine, I'm going to have to dig into this, but he might have the most games ever played in the NCDC over that 4-year span. He had only 121 penalty minutes. So he had 142 points over 4 years,
It's
but
incredible.
only took 121 minutes in penalty time. This is a guy you can trust to stay out of the box, to stay on the ice for you. This is a fourth line guy for any squad at the next level. I love the way Corona plays the game. He's just a guy you can trust. You can trust him with a lot of ice time. You can trust him. He doesn't need all the ice time, right? He can come out and he can play 12 minutes for your night, 14 minutes for your night, and still make a difference, still make things happen. I love the way the guy plays the game. He's a facilitator. Let's get to your defensive pair here, Lucas. Who you got? First pick there.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and pick two guys who were in the NCDC Denis Cup finals. I've got Sean Melso and I've got Jude Brower. And I think these two really solidified themselves in those 2 games at the Ice Vault as elite level defensemen. They can obviously get things done offensively. Jude Brower is such a creator. Sean Melso, hands of gold, right? But I think I loved watching them at moments, and a lot of moments during that series, just lock down and play defense, backskate, get into the corner boards, battle for the puck, play up by the blue line. I really think that those two are a good combination of everything you want to see out of a modern defenseman, right? Especially one that we're starting to see the trending towards. So I've got Melso and Brower.
Well, Melso was the only defenseman in the entirety of the NCDC who qualified with enough games played to average more than a point per game. That's incredible right there offensively. He's also a lockdown defensive guy. You talk about Jude Brower. I mean, you knew he was going to make a big play every single night. Every time we called a game, he'd have that moment where he took the team on his back and made something happen. He's a game changer. I think, Lucas, I just watched Beer Fest recently again, and they say, "Oh, you want our first two? How about our best two?" And that's what you took the first two. I'm going to the best two right here, okay? Because when I gave up that first pick, I felt like I was losing Melso and Brower, but I felt comfortable enough to go to these two. First off, from the Utica Junior Comets, how about Jessie Galassie here? You look at Jessie Galassie out of Utica. This is a young man who, he's 24 points in the year, 5 goals, 19 assists. I like the way that Galassie played at the D line there, at the blue line all season long. And you take Galassie, and you know what you do? You just put him next to Evan Payos. How about Payos,
Wow.
man? A young man from Minnesota, and this guy pays off to have at the blue line. 2003, Evan Payos, 41 games played this year. He had 9 power play assists out of his 19 total assists. 9 of them came on the power play. He's a special teamer, man, and he's a special player. He's got the ability to skate. He skates like a winger at times. Like, you can let this guy go play the game. You got guys going off on a change off for a new shift. He can come out here. He can score a goal, catch you sleeping, get behind the defenseman and tuck one away. I really like the way Payos plays. I've loved Galassie all season long. That's my top D pair here.
I mean, Galassi is such a good pick, and Payos being an 03 as well. You sometimes forget that Payos is an 03, that he's a younger guy with the way that he plays. I am gonna have some trouble, I think, if those two are gonna be out there on puck drop.
Yeah, and you're gonna have even more trouble when you look in the net, Lucas, because I've got no one insaner than Peyton Grainer in his skill set, man. From the Jersey Hitmen, Peyton Grainer, when you win an NCDC championship, when you lift the Deneen Cup, I tend to pick you as my netminder. I loved Chase Clark last year. You talk about big skates to fill, both literally and figuratively, man. Chase Clark, the 6'6" tall netminder who's drafted in the fifth round by the Washington Capitals. Well, guess what Peyton Grainer does? He comes in and he matches Clark year in, year out, and puts together an incredible resume. 23-5-0-0, 2.30 goals against. That was best in the league. 9.28 saves percentage. That was second best in the league. 3 shutouts. That was second best in the league. 1,745 minutes played. This guy got the job done for the champs.
He was incredible. You know, the amount of saves that he made in that Deneen Cup final, you can talk about all the stats you want in the regular season, but go back and watch those 2 games. I mean, the amount of shots the Junior Bruins put on him, put on net, that he just turned away. And turned away, I think, with a lot of skill, right? Because the Junior Bruins are such an opportunistic team, built around trying to crash and grab that rebound. And he's turning pucks away to the areas that they're not. So I think you talk about someone who's got really good control over themselves, really good control and command in the crease. He certainly has it.
Lucas, you got net here.
Well, this one I think was an interesting one, and he was a fun netminder to watch. I've got Mitchell Day, and here's why I've got Mitchell Day. 43 games played, 29, 10, and 2, so most wins of any netminder in the NCDC. He also has 2.43 goals against and a 9.30 save percentage, but beating out by just 4 minutes in net Colin Wynn for the most minutes of any NCDC netminder in the regular season. 2,562 minutes spent in net. That is a workhorse. We talked about Nick Cesarini in the Premier being the Iron Man of the USPHL with games played. This year, I think Mitch Day might be the Iron Man in terms of the netminder in the NCDC.
Lucas, you want to know an even crazier stat when you start looking at Mitchell Day's resume? It's how many close games he was involved in. Let's put it this way. He has 1 shootout loss, right? 25 shootout attempts on him. That means this young man was in a ton of shootouts and he won them the majority of the time. He had a 64% save percentage in the shootout. I mean, you look in the sevens usually when you're starting to look stellar, 7, 8, 70% to 80% range, but 64 got the job done, won those games, 2 shutouts, a 2.48 goals against, 9.30 saves percentage. When you face the most shots in the league and you save the highest percentage of shots, you're usually the best goaltender in the league. So this guy was an easy pick for goaltender of the year, an easy pick for your team here, Lucas. I think you got a steal. You look at your blue line, you look at Jude Brower, Sean Nelson, when you add up the Mitchell Day, what coach is going to get a chance to coach these guys for you? Who's your head coach?
Well, I'm going with a little bit of a dynamo here, and I'm going to stay right here with the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs because Clint Edinger, I think, is one of the most dynamic coaches in the NCDC. I think that his energy behind the bench is just something that I really admire. The way that he coaches his team, the way that he works with his team, the passion, the enthusiasm. And you know what I did? I did this yesterday because I knew we picked these ahead of time, and I knew I was picking Mr. Clint Edinger. So yesterday, when I got my Dunkin' Donuts coffee, Dan, you know what I did?
Oh, shot of blues.
I put a little shot of blueberry in it, and I will tell you this. I get it. It's not for me, but I get it. I get why he does it. And, just talk about a guy who can even take like a joke like that in stride, right? We call RC like in the Premier Elite Mr. Light and Sweet for how he takes his coffee. But, we made a joke about that to Coach Edinger, and he loved it, took it in stride. And that's what you want to see, someone who gets the professionalism but knows how to have fun.
In honor of Coach Edinger being the first pick as head coach here in the NCDC, little blueberry cobbler coffee from New England Coffee. Folks in New England should be reaching out to Clint Edinger. They should be letting them know they've got a new sponsor for them. That's a great pick, Lucas. I love the pick. I mean, Coach Edinger, you just brought so much energy to that team. That was a squad that everyone loved to watch all season long. Talk about love to watch, man. This is a guy who, Toby Harris was your coach of the year in the NCDC and well-deserved. I mean, the guy got a 600th win. He was dominant. Yet again, the Hitmen win the Deneen Cup. I saw Bobby Reese after they lifted that cup, the owner of the team, and I said, said, "Sir, you're going to have to get some more space. You might have to create another rink just for the banners at this point. Like you might need some more real estate." And he just laughed. He said, "Well, that's always the goal, right?" And that's the season Toby Harris had. But what I like with the All Dan K Show team is we get to go away from the coach of the year, the MVP, and we get to celebrate some of these other guys who've had incredible seasons. And holy cannoli. I mean, if you told me ravioli, give me the head coaching formuloli that you want for your team, Dan, I would look no further than Drew Omacholi. And this guy, I mean, you talk about a South Shore Kings team that I thought was going to win a cup all year. The South Shore Kings team towards the top of the Norris division all season long. A South Shore Kings team that gave every big squad fits all year. Had guys like Chikara Hanzawa. And on top of it, he's also a Netflix superstar. I've tried to become his agent. He doesn't want the agency work. And Lucas, I'll give you a big stat on Coach Omacholi. So Coach Omacholi was the leading scorer on that incredible team in Danbury that was on that incredible run that made its way onto the Netflix crime and penalties there, you know? And then you look at him this year, 25 wins, but even more impressive was 3 sandwiches eaten in one All-Star intermission at the NCDC All-Star game, leading to my favorite quote caught on mic all season long. That was just too many sandwiches, guys. Coach Omacholi, the king. Absolutely love Coach Omacholi.
Yeah, he took that South Shore Kings team that was already so talented, right? Just on paper. And I think he really elevated them. And, he coaches with an ease, right? It's not laid back, right? Because he is one of the more involved coaches that I see, but he coaches with such an ease. That's what his presence brings to the guys in the team, and you love to see that. You love to see a guy who gets it from a player perspective, from a coaching perspective, and I think he does such a good job up there in South Shore.
Yeah, incredible work. We go next to our broadcaster, and Lucas, this is one we talk about it. The importance of broadcasting, I think, gets lost at times, and it's so important for you parents at home, for you players that have families trying to watch around the country, and especially in the NCDC, around the world. And you see the ability to have a professional broadcast, to have somebody who understands the teams in front of them, to have somebody who makes it fun to watch. And for me, for the second year in a row in the NCDC, that was Brian Riscona. And Brian with the Pal Junior Islanders, I mean, to see the work they put in, to see the investment made by this organization, to see that they care is really exciting, right? And you talk about guys like Coach Mike Marcoux and the battles that he's fought this year and what this organization's done, both on the ice, just in terms of success, making another playoff run in the South Division, roster-wise, the amount of guys they keep throughout the organization and eventually move on to the next level. And just from top to bottom, again, the Pal Junior Islanders, you have to adore what this organization does, what they stand for, and what they are. And Brian Riscona, you want to talk about it, the right guy to be answering the door, right, when the bell rings to say, hey, welcome to Pal Junior Islanders land. That's the guy I want doing it. This is a guy who's appeared with Craig Carton on the morning show there on WFAN, now the afternoon show. Wow, I'm aging myself here. Now the afternoon show with Carton and Roberts there. But this is a guy who's a professional, man. He understands it, and he understands what he needs to do.
Yeah, and Dan, make sure that, the next time we talk about guys, we don't start referencing their time on Johnny Carson either. That might be that might be the only thing a little bit more dated than that. It's amazing how quickly time flies, though.
Yeah, it goes by fast. But time. Speaking of time flying, who do you got, Lucas? Who do you got as your broadcaster?
So broadcasting, and you and I have talked about this over and over, but I think it bears a little repeating. It's not optional, right? When you talk about a broadcaster is the public-facing person of an organization in a lot of ways. They are the front desk person. They are the waiter. They are the first person when you turn on a piece of media and you watch a game. They are the voice, and sometimes they are the face of what you're seeing and hearing. And that is a responsibility, not just on the part of the broadcaster, but on the part of the organization, to bring somebody in to make sure that they have someone who can be the constant trusted voice and face of presenting the product that you've put out there on the ice. And I don't know if there's another person who takes their job as seriously as Brett Luthner. Someone
Yep.
who has the experience and someone who isn't afraid to use that experience, right? They know how to leverage that. They know how to leverage their public persona. They know how to leverage their social media presence to try to create this extremely professional image. And he loves his work. He loves what he does. And you can talk about professionalism, but at the end of the day, when you love what you do, I mean, is it really work at that point? I mean, it is, but that's at least what the saying is.
100%. I love Brett Luthner through and through, man. We've brought him in now for multiple events. You see, it's just what we care about is the care, right? And people can feel your passion when you're on the mic. People can feel that you care about these guys and what they're doing ice level. And the only goal that anybody on a microphone should have at the NCDC level, the Premier level, the elite level, is to further the cause of these players. Get them seen by scouts, highlight the great work they're putting on the ice, and get them to the next level of the game. Because if you move them on, you move yourself to the next level. And a guy like Brett Luthner who's already been to the next level, who's already at the next level, like he just continues to care, continues to want to create opportunity. He creates opportunities for the broadcasters around him in Jersey, right? Look at the Matt DiGiacomos. Like, look at the guys out there in Jersey who are doing incredible work, who are making things happen, who make it so much fun. Love this app. Absolutely love the pick here, Lucas. Owners. I'm taking first pick on owner. I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off here. I'm stealing it away. I'm breaking the rules for this one because I'm taking Bobby Reese because the Hitmen just continue to win. And why is that? We've talked to Bobby Reese multiple times. He makes himself available. Okay, my favorite thing about Bobby Reese is you think about owners in sports, and you always think about owners in sports as, ooh, the man behind the curtain. We'll never get to know that person. We'll never get to meet that person. I'll never get to understand what the owner of the team's thinking. They're just always the bad guy hiding behind the scenes. When you go to the Ice Vault Arena, whether it's the Deneen Cup Championship, whether it's a youth tournament, whether it's practice day, whether it's whatever, I guarantee you at some point you will bump into Bobby Reese, the owner of that team, that organization, the best in potentially junior hockey history, standing right in that lobby. You can walk right up to him, shake his hand, have a conversation. The man makes himself not only available, but he makes the teams around him successful. I love the work of Bobby Reese. This is someone who doesn't get championed enough in this game, somebody who doesn't get talked about enough. With all the success they have, people get tired of hearing about the Hitmen. Bobby Reese did it again.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much better than an owner that you can walk right up and talk to, right? That is, you don't just get to to sit back and be the Wizard of Oz man behind the curtain here. It's all about getting out in front of the people and and working with them. That because without people, obviously these owners know that they wouldn't have an organization if not for the players and parents and fans. So you love what Bobby Reese does. You love the work he puts in. My owner, Dan, I think I accidentally, on purpose, went with an all-passion starting lineup here.
I like this.
Because we talked about how passionate Clint Edinger is. We talked about how passionate Brett Luthner is. And who's more passionate? Who wears their love of the game and their desire to win on their sleeve more than Dan Hodge? I mean, Hodgie baby, as we
Haji
call him,
baby. I mean, he's part of the squad here making Broly stores coming to a main near you.
That's it. And, he is someone who, and you talk about it from an ownership perspective. I like working with people who tell me exactly what they're thinking, whether it's something I might want to hear or might not want to hear, right? But as long as it's the truth, I want to hear it. And Dan Hodge, I feel like, is a guy that respects that. He's a guy who lives in that truth. He'll call you up and tell you if he doesn't like something. And he's also receptive to hearing things in the back end too. He's part of that conversation, right? And I love that. I love that from him. I love him as my owner.
He's absolutely incredible, and he coaches too, right? He does it all.
Yeah.
And you look at what they've built up there in Twin City. It's incredible, man. We always want to get up there more. I mean, I felt bad this year. We were supposed to go up there for Pink in the Rink, and we just couldn't get ourselves up there with Dan K being down here in Florida, Lucas in Jersey, us in Minnesota the week before. But it's something we want to champion is the work that guys like Dan Hodge do. And you look at the family, man, the lineage in the game of hockey, they get where success comes from, and that's why they do it right. You got to invest to make, right? That's it. You spend to win, you spend to earn, and it's not just spending money, it's spending your heart, it's spending your passion, it's spending your time. It's soul money, baby. Let's go. And that's what Dan Hodge is all about. Lucas, you get the first three forwards now. On the next forward setup, Dan Cable then gets 6 in a row, so don't screw this up. Wait, no, I get the first 3. I lied to you. I get
Yep.
the first 3. Okay, I get the first 3, you get the next. Oh, man, I can't screw this
So
up.
Dan, you get the next 3 forwards, which
Oh,
means I
no.
get the next 2 lines. So don't screw it up.
I won't screw it up. Okay, I'm going to start with a guy he's not here to be nicey. It's Joe Salamini. This guy has been stellar all season long. He's a speedster. He can get into space. And when I have a speedster who can get into space, I need a guy who's used to getting him the puck. So I got to stay with the Boston Junior Bruins, and I got to go to Iki Kagawa, the year 2003, the man from Japan. Iki Kagawa, this is a guy with the ability to skate, to create, to pass, to shoot, to score. And Lucas, what I want to talk about real quick, we talked about the growth of the game of hockey. How about 2 of my first 5 forwards picked in the NCDC coming from the country of Japan? That's incredible,
Yep.
right? And then you got Latvia represented here already. We've got Japan represented. You talk about the growth of this game worldwide, growing in Asia, growing here in America, growing even in the Caribbean. We work with folks who work with the Team Jamaica hockey team, right? And different countries that are trying to grow the game everywhere throughout. You got Marcelo D'Antonano, who's out there playing goalie for Team Mexico right now at the Worlds or the 18U. It's so exciting right now, so fun to watch. I got to add one more guy who's fun to watch. I've got my creative guys. I got my speedster in Salamini. I got my good hands, my passer in Iki Kagawa. I need my guy who's got a lot of heart, man. I need that guy who, he's got to bring the sunlight. He's got to bring the suntan. The Tanner Hartman. That was a good lead in right there. Tanner Hartman from the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs. That's my third because I knew you would take him if I did.
Yeah, I was probably going to steal him if he didn't. Such a dynamic line, right? And I loved at the NCDC what it does so well is it really carves out a space. I mean, as the game of hockey does, right? It carves out a space for a lot of different types of players. And as long as you are owning the type of player you are, you can go so far in the NCDC. And I think you've got a really dynamic second line.
Lucas, you get 6 in a row. If you steal any of my guys, I will run through the computer screen.
Well, that's, I think, why it's a good thing you're in Florida and I'm in Jersey, because it's going to take you a while to get up here if I do steal one of your guys. My second line, we're going to go with Alex Demeski. No one more pesky.
Pesky pick. What a pesky pick.
Timothy Hankey, who I think, you talk about dynamic, really, I think has impressed me this year with the way that he plays both sides of the game, plays a strong neutral zone game, has good vision. Demeski, too. Demeski loves to really get involved right in front of the net. I think that's one of the hallmarks there. I think the big heavy hitter, at 6 foot 187, Andre Levushkin, really rounds out this line for me. And we talked a little about Hankey, we talked a little about Demeski, but Levushkin, the Connecticut Junior Ranger product, in 4 games in the playoffs last year for the Connecticut Junior Rangers, he had 5 points. In 8 games this year for the Junior Bruins, late season move over to Boston, 8 games, 7 points. For the Connecticut Junior Rangers, they had 109 regular season games, 50 goals, 27 assists. This is a skater who I feel like is one of the most talented skaters that I've watched in our time covering the NCDC all around, and he is so firmly that Connecticut Junior Ranger presence, right? We talk about sometimes these coaches that, the players pick up on their vibes, right? And the way that Jim Henkel runs that system, never says quit, always grinds it out. Will skate as many minutes as you tell him to. I love Levushkin to round out the second line.
It's a great pick, man. You look at Levushkin, he was a guy who when he went to Boston, and he almost helped win that Canadian Cup, right? Mm-hmm. Planted him in front of the net. He battled for goals. He's a great cleanup crew, man. He just takes defensemen out of the play. He takes netminder sightlines away, and then he goes after rebounds. It's something that's incredible to watch. You add in Timothy Hankey and Alex Demeski. I mean, 2 of the easiest picks of all time there for any forward line. You put those guys in a group, they're going to score. And Demeski along with the Marcinkovic twins, right? I mean, how about the season he had? What do you got next, Lucas? You've already taken 3 of my guys.
Well, I don't think you're going to like this one either, Dan.
Let's do it.
First from Utica, John Gutt.
Okay, that's a good pick. I
Yeah,
like that. That
we've talked
hurts.
about him a little bit. Certainly a gut check for you, but a gut check for a lot of people who tried to face him down in his time in the NCDC. I need to have Evan Brown on my team as well.
What can Brown do for you? He can score a lot of goals.
That's it. Guts and assist guy mostly. Evan Brown, really great hands on him and such a joy to watch. The third guy from the Boston Advantage. You know who it is. It's Manny Sanchez.
Oh, Manny Sanchez, man. Talk about the Danny K show. Manny Sanchez, Lucas. I saw Manny Sanchez play for one shift at the NCDC Summer Showcase.
Mm-hmm.
Up in Massachusetts, or New Hampshire, sorry. The showcase was going on. Saw Manny Sanchez take the ice and skate. Immediately walked over to Britt Hart, who was taking photos for her Boston Advantage squad, and said, "Who is that?" It was Manny Sanchez. I said, "I guarantee you he's going to be the leading scorer on this team." She's like, "I think so too." I walk out of the building. One shift, Manny Sanchez, leading scorer on the Boston Advantage. What a season for him. What a player. What a skater. So fun to watch.
Yeah, 39 points on the year for him, zero point 0.8 points per game. I mean, just dynamic, right? That's what you want a third line to be. You want these guys to be able to do a little bit of everything, and they just have such a love for the game, and it really shows when they play.
Yeah, now, Lucas, that's your six right there. So I'm going to answer back with six of my own. I'm going to start at IHC with Aaron Schwartz. The Schwartz is with me right now here, Lucas, and you look like Aaron. Aaron just is I know Coach Kirk Costas wanted a little more in the win-loss category out of his team this year. Everybody wants to win games. Coach K is a winner, right? But you look at Schwartzy, this guy he was creative. He was fun to watch. He was an all-star all season long. I'm going to add him to two guys that I think make up what I look for in a player. And that's Aiden Curran of the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs with 39 assists, 51 points on the year, 4 power play goals, 13 power play assists. Aiden Curran and Easton Ryan. And Easton Ryan, you might be saying, Dan, you're going pretty far down the list of this Boston Junior Bruins side here in the point tally category, right? This isn't a top 20 point getter. It is, and yes, it is. He's number 17. He's number 17 overall, 23 goals, 24 assists. You know what that is? It's balance in scoring. Basically a point per game for this guy. 7 power play goals, 4 power play assists. What I do want to point out about Ryan, when you point out about Curran, about Schwartz, is the combination of double-digit shorthanded points for these guys between the three of them. That's what makes these guys special. They can kill your penalty. They can score your power play goal. They can play at even strength. They can win it for you in overtime. They can take a shootout goal. They can do a little bit of everything for you each and every day, and that is what I want out of a third forward line.
That's exactly right, and that's what you need, right? And I love that Ryan pick as well because as we say it once, we say it 1,000 times. This is not a recap of the top 20 on the leaderboard. These teams,
Yep.
right? These are the guys that we might want to start a real team, and I think Ryan is just perfectly encapsulates the kind of energy, the kind of person you want to be on your side.
10 shorthanded points between the three of them. 10 shorthanded points. That's something I need to point out. 20 plus power play points. I'm not good enough at the math to do it that quick. Forwards, fourth forward line. These are my bangers, man. These are the guys that are going to come out. They're going to be physical with you. They're going to get the job done. Tyler Christ of the Powell Junior Islanders, John Solid Goldowski of the Northern Cyclones, and Michael DePietra. Michael DePietra is the quintessential pick of the Jersey Hitmen for this all Dan K team. Second year in a row, I've selected Michael DePietra. Second year in a row that he has absolutely floored me with his second chance efforts. Once a game, it feels like this guy wins a race to a puck to wave off an icing that creates an opportunity. Dives at the blue line to keep a puck alive, keep it from going offside. Makes a big block shot to save a game. It always feels like the little things, the stuff that won't show up on the stat sheet each and every day. Those are the things DePietra does. He does them in the biggest moments, on the biggest stages with the spotlight on him. That's why I pick him on my fourth line here.
Yeah, that is you said it best about DePietra. I don't know if there's anything that I can add that you haven't said already about how good he is, and I think dynamic is a good word. And we know the game of hockey is trending towards a more dynamic player, right? These guys who can only really do one thing is not what the game has become. So, You look at guys who can kind of do it all and excel by doing it all. It's kind of a jack of all trades, master of all trades, which is a pretty incredible statement.
Lucas, your fourth and final forward line. We're getting to the final three here.
Well, Dan, I have watched a lot of advantage hockey this year. I have been on that hockey TV feed quite a bit, and so I'm going to go with another player from the advantage who impressed me, and it's Cade Helmer. Cade Helmer, 40 points to Manny Sanchez's 39. Helmer, 19 goals, 21 assists. I really like the intensity that he shows. I like the way he hops over the boards. The little details, right? But so important when you're putting a team together. I like what Helmer does. Cole Valise, Rockets Hockey Club, 37 points on the season, 14 power play assists. Kind of a hunter. You feel like he's just always looking around, trying to find a way past the defense, trying to find a way to feed the puck, trying to figure out something, right? Kind of an analyzer. And then I'm going to throw in here another great analyzer, someone who I think really understands the fundamentals of the game, in Will Traeger. Will Traeger, just an overall incredible player. I just, you look at the way that you describe a guy like Traeger, and he does everything and is not afraid to do more, if that makes sense, Dan.
Yeah, is that good is the question, and we'll say you can go watch his podcast. Is that good? It's everywhere you can find your podcast. And you know what, Cade Helmer, you could say Helmer was the glue that held that squad together with the Boston Advantage. Helmer's glue. It's supposed to be Elmer's, but I added the H to it. And Cole Valise, man, we've watched him for a couple of years now. Stellar player, talented, ability through the roof. Let's get to our defenseman here, Lucas. You get two, and then I get all four in a row.
Well, it makes things a little bit difficult for me, I will say. Norm, I'm used to kind of get in my way with the defenseman, but I guess in this situation, I'll go with just a few here, just two. I'm going to start with look who it is, Dan. It's another member of the Boston Advantage here. I got Jared Lambright. 2 goals, 24 assists on the season, 26 points in total. Again, I watched a lot of Advantage hockey, I'm not going to lie, and I think there's a lot of really impressive parts of that team. And I think Lambright's one of them. I'm going to pair him up with an absolute thoroughbred workhorse of a defenseman. The only man who was embarrassed to score a goal, it's Xander Lizzat. And one of the best interviews of all time from Hub City, Tampa, gave him a star of the game for scoring a goal. And he said, what was the reaction on the bench? He said, the reaction on the bench was, what are you even doing with the puck in that situation? But, I mean, I love that, right? It's like I said, it's a workhorse. Kid will skate an entire game if you ask him to.
Yep. He does everything you need, man. I know we love watching Xander Lizzat. Jared Lambright, man, his future's Lambright. It's very bright for him. He's a guy who, I like your picks here, Lucas, because you're doing a good job at exactly what we try to get at, which is finding kind of those diamonds in the rough that might go missed throughout a season. And I've got a couple here, Lucas. I got 4 diamonds coming at you right now. This is the 4 Diamonds Club for Dan K. These guys are that good. Brandon Semino of the Jersey Hitmen and Dominic Evtimov of the Utica Junior Comets. That's my first D pair here. And I'll go through all 4 all at once because I think they're all going to complement each other perfectly here. You talk about those 2. Then I go to this guy hints at being pretty good. Okay, how about Ryan Hintz? Hintz, 7 goals, 13 assists on the year. He's not a scoring defenseman unless you're talking power play because 4 of his 7 goals on the power play this year, had a game winner. This is a year 2003 with a lot of time left in the junior game for himself to get to the next level. Young guy with a big future, and Andrew Carmody joining him. And it's a comedy to try to stop Carmody from stopping you, man. I mean, Andrew Carmody played with IHC and South Shore this year. Just a fun watch. These 4, Lucas, I'm going to mix and match these guys as the game goes on. Semino when I need some scoring. Carmody when I need to get creative at the blue line. Evtimov to dish out the big hit. Hints to come in and play fast. Like, any way I need these guys to go, that's why I name them all 4 together.
Yeah, I think that's a great move, and it gives you some options, right? I think one of the things from the NCDC we saw this year was that you had some defensemen who are obviously very offensively minded, right? A lot of assists, a lot of goals. And then you've got defensemen who just shut it down in the neutral zone, right? Their eyes are watching other people carry the puck so they can hit them a little better. And I like that you've managed to get manage to get both types of players on your defensive line. And again, like you say, this is what it is, right? It's not the point sheet. It's looking at players, evaluating players. In the NCDC, we watch so much hockey that you make sure that you get the right guys in your lines.
Let's talk about right guys. You get two more left. Who you got, Lucas? Who you cleaning up here with?
And first off, an impact player from the Dineen Cup final. Scored 3 goals in the regular season. Scored 2 goals in 2 championship games. It's Jimmy Gofredo from the Boston Junior Bruins.
Gofredo, baby.
Jimmy Gofredo, he'll knock you around a little bit. He's certainly not afraid to get mixed up, to get involved. I like the way that he approached the Dineen Cup, especially with so much speed from the side of the jersey. Hitman, 6', 180, and he's got some good skates under him, man. He can change directions on a dime. And joining him is, I think, someone who we both really like to watch this year, and it's Daisuke Agusa from the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs.
Yeah.
And you talk about someone who feels like just a really good, pure defensive player. He's got the speed to match people, but at 6'3", 196, he's going to lay the body out. And there's room, I think, for a big defenseman with 10 assists on the year who's not afraid to get involved, I think, in both sides of the game. And Agusa made some impact plays, and they just stuck around with me.
Yeah, and he started last year for a few games with the Twin City Thunder, moved his way over to New Hampshire, made things happen there. Daisuke Agusa, I love watching him play, man. I love calling a game when he's at the blue line. And Jimmy Gofredo, 2 goals in the 2 biggest games of the year, right? This is a guy that when the moments got big, he got even bigger, man. He made the big plays that were needed. Let's talk about some big plays here, Lucas. We go to our extra skaters. You get to pick your first 2. So there's an extra forward, extra defenseman before we get to our final 2 goalies, the final 2 spots on our squads. Who's your extra forward? Who's your extra D-man?
My extra forward, again, somebody who made some pretty impactful plays for his team, the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs this year. It's Big Ben Mothersbaugh.
Big Ben Mothersbaugh.
And, again, we looked at what he brought to the table this year, and I know you loved it. I know I loved watching him play, and it's, just someone who can clean up in front of the net if he needs to. He can get back and play defense if he has to. You love watching a guy like this play. And my extra defenseman is going to be Austin Rice. And I think the role of these extra skaters is the everyman, right? It's someone you can throw in to throw off another team, to throw off another team's line changes, to mix and match. So you need people who can do it a little bit of everything. And I think Austin Rice is that guy.
Yeah, Lucas, I love those 2 picks. You talk about these extra spots, right? And it's already tough enough. I know we missed a zillion guys, right? You're going to always miss guys in something like this when you're trying to put together a super team. This isn't all-star teams. You don't get multiple chances at it, multiple swings. This is the best of the best in the NCDC, the Premier, the Elite. NCDC-wise, Lucas, I got to start. I'm going to do my extra defenseman first here. And it's a guy I'm pretty serious about. It's Nick Serio of the Pal Junior Islanders. And Nick just always stepped in the nick of time to make the big plays. We've watched him for a while now. I just trust Nick Serio on the ice, right? And if I want a versatile blue line, guys like Nick Serio are the ones who allow that for me. And that's what Coach Marcoux had there in Pal. It's what I would have here with the All-Dan K team. And I get to the most interesting pick of all this, okay? Because I could pick a lot of forwards here. But I'm going to pick one, Lucas, who I think you didn't see coming. Let's go to Penn State University. A man who, had 13 goals and 23 assists in this NCDC campaign, but more impressively had 4 goals and 1 assist for Penn State University in the Big Ten this year in the NCAA. Dylan Lugris. Lugris was the original Marcinkovi line mate there, then moved around in the second line a bit. Penn State came a call in halfway through the year and said, hey, we need Dylan Lugris on this side. Was it because Dan Kay was championing Dylan Lugris moving on broadcast and yelling loudly to the world that this kid's ready to go today and this kid is next level? And probably not, but you never know. When Dan Kay talks, people tend to listen. And Dylan Lucas was my guy last year, Lucas, at Hub City, Tampa. He was the guy who stood out to me as the top guy in that squad with a huge future. Did it again this year. Dylan Lucas, Nick Serio. Those are my guys.
Well, Dan, as a Rutgers alumni, I can say sarcastically, it's a shame that he went to Penn State. Just
Oh, forget your Rutgers. He's not going to have a hockey team.
no, that's a fair point. I should have seen that coming as well. It's one of the great shames of Rutgers University that we don't have a hockey team yet. Probably never. That's what happens when you lose $60 million a year on your football program. But
I'm sorry. I was in charge of spending at Rutgers for a little while. We talked about Dan K's spending habits. I messed up. I will apologize again.
it's all those giant ceremonial coins you're
Well,
commissioning.
I figured if one team had a ceremonial coin, we all needed one. And next thing you know, the one coin went into the pool and it got all rusty, and then we had to redo the pool.
Well, now that we figured out Rutgers' budgeting issues, stop hiring Dan to do your events. I love that Lucas went a half season and went to Penn State and was successful. It's always so good to see that the NCDC not only at the end of the year has so many commitments, but halfway through the year college comes calling, and what does the future champion of the NCDC say? Yeah, take him, go for it, good luck. Right? That is the point. The point is the advancement. So I love those two picks, and what a great job.
Yeah, I hope he gets a ring too, because he definitely was a part of that Benin Cup winning squad, man. I don't think they ever lost a game when he was playing for this Hitmen side. Let's go to the videotape. No, let's not. No, Warner Wolf. What was that, Warner Wolf? Who was that? Was it Warner? Let's go to the videotape.
I think that was Warner Wolf.
I think it was Warner Wolf. I think I got it right. It's a New York thing. Goalkeepers, netminders. I'm going to take my two right now, Lucas, and I'll let you close it out. Okay? First up, I'm going to take a man who wins, no matter what. He's got goal stopping on his mind, and he can never not stop a puck. How about Colin Wynn? 1,352 shots faced this year, a 2.58 goals against, a 919 saves percentage, 4 shutouts. Anytime I asked Mike Anderson who was starting in net when I'd be on a broadcast for the Boston Junior Bruins, he said, "Really? I think it's going to be Colin Wynn." And I would look at him, I'd say, "Best of luck to you today, sir." And he'd get out there. So 25, 12, 3, and 2. This is a guy who faced a ton of time on ice and a ton of opportunity.
Yeah, that is just, again, a workhorse netminder. You don't see a lot of netminders with 44 games played under their belt, but, Wynn is certainly one of the top netminders in the NCDC, and really, really confident in the crease.
Yeah, next up, I go to a guy who faced the 7th most shots in the league. Okay? He goals against average-wise, 7th place in goals against average, also very good. 924 saves percentage, which was 5th overall in the league in that category. 2 shutouts, nearly 2,000 minutes played on ice. He had an 80% save rate, basically, on the shootout attempts. Saw 18 of them in the season. Was 15 and 15 between the pipes for a team that battled all season long, back and forth, up and down. But in the All-Star game, against the best of the best, went shutty. Christopher Eberle of the Northern Cyclones. And this is a guy that, again, when you show up with a spotlight on you, Dan K's going to pick you.
Yeah, I think Eberle made a huge name for himself at that All-Star game. I mean, yes, you can always talk about an All-Star game as, the guys are kind of only doing one thing. Well, hey, the one thing they're doing is offense. The one thing they're doing is showing off, right? They're trying to put as many goals in as they can. And against Eberle, well, they didn't. And that says a lot about a netminder.
Now let's say something about your netminders, Lucas. You got 2 to pick. I left you some good ones.
There are a lot of good ones. This is a very, very tough decision. I'm going to go back to the Pal Junior Islanders here, and I'm going to go with Harrison Chesney. Now, Harrison Chesney, this year, 25 games played, 12 and 11, 273 goals against, a 926 save percentage. In his NCDC career with the Pal Junior Islanders, a 919 save percentage across 34 games. I think that the Pal Junior Islanders had a really good goaltender duo between Chesney and Cam Smith. Chesney's statistics just edged him out a little bit more, but some really solid net minding out of the Pal Junior Islanders. And Dan, for number 3, I'm going to go back to the Bridgewater boys here, to the Rockets Hockey Club. A man named
Your
Gino
boys.
Pachora. That is 23 games played, 15 wins, 15-5, 294 goals against. I think that Gino had, again, another standout season for a team that looked like it had title hopes.
Yeah, Gino Pachoro was absolutely stellar. This is a future golfer. A future golfer there. You betcha. Skyuma. Is that what it is, Lucas?
Hey, you got it.
Hey, I got it. Me and the Minnesotans, we go way back, eh? And, this is a guy that when you look at it, don't you know, he's just a good player. And he's a guy who, you could invite in, you could have a little hot dish with, and he could, you betcha, win you a championship.
Really struggling towards the end of that impersonation there.
I don't know what happened there, but I was thinking of Bobby's World. Bobby, don't you know? And that's what I had in the mindset there, and I just kind of whiffed.
Well, I will say this: I went to the Frozen Four this year to watch Minnesota compete. Obviously, they were knocked out in that semifinal game, but you talk about someone who's committed to that university. You make it to the Frozen Four. You have some pretty high expectations for that squad in the next couple of years. So he's going to have to kind of shoulder that and be a part of that. And who knows, maybe we'll see him at the future Frozen Four.
Well, if you are a part of the All Dan K or All Lucas J team, congratulations. If you are not, let's get to work. Mm-hmm. Whether you're off to college this year, whether you are back in the NCDC, whether you're moving elsewhere, whatever your next step is in your playing career, we are here for you at the Dan K Show, and we are excited to continue to cover you. As Michael Jordan said, I took it personally. If you didn't make the squad and you think you should have been here, take it personally, man. Let us know. Reach out, social media at @Dan K Show, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Go to dankshow.com to find out more. Lucas, you've been doing parting words on these things, so let's hear them. Why don't you close us out, Lucas? I have no more parting words. You know what? Congrats to everybody on a great season. Close it out, Lucas, and make sure you thank the folks at GMU Sport before you. I want to make sure you have the ad reads in there too.
Yeah, I think the ad reads might be embedded in my brain at this point. I'm pretty sure I dreamt about a GMU Sport ad read last night before filming this, but we of course want to thank our sponsors, first and foremost GMU Sport for their work at the Elite and Premier Nationals, for their work at the Dineen Cup Finals, and for their continued work with the USPHL. If you're a team owner, if you're a coach, reach out to us, and we want to try to help these players. We want to add to the professionalism here. We want to get you a pretty good percentage off of your protein, of your pre-workout, of your post-workout. And for the folks at home, for the parents who might be listening, we can get you that discount as well. We'll have the information down below in the video in the description, so you can go right there to get your discounts, to get more info. We want to thank our sponsor, Remastered Sleep, who helped us with the Minnesota road trips this year. They are the water bottle of your dreams. We'll put that information in the description as well. I want to thank all of our great sponsors, Selly Salt. And, before we sign off here, Dan, before I get to close off, what a monumentous occasion. I want to say that this year, I think, was one of the most dynamic years we experienced across all divisions, Elite, Premier, NCDC. I think that the youth of the game is strong. We get those, we see some of the youth aspects as well. And the future of the game is bright. And we want to thank everyone who was part of the USPHL this year. We want to thank everyone who was part of the Dan K Show this past season. Without you, without the players, without the parents, there is no USPHL. Without the players and the parents, there is no Dan K Show. Without everybody at home, none of this really exists. So we want to thank everyone who was a part of it this year. We want to continue to encourage you to continue to be a part of it going forward. And from Dan and myself, we might be signing off on the NCDC All Dan K Show team and on the All Dan K Show teams from this past year. But we ain't done. We are not done, not even close. There is a lot more to do in the game of junior hockey, in the game of college hockey, in the game of youth hockey. Dan and I are going to continue to put in the work in the offseason to make those institutions the best they can be for you, the parents, the players, the fans at home. For all of us at the Dan K Show, both of us on screen right now, Dan K, Lucas Jones. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to @the_Dan K Show, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all off season long. Recaps, highlights. We're going to try to make a TikTok on our own without the help of Britt Hart. They're not usually very good when we do it, but we are certainly going to try. So make sure to keep watching. We'll see you this summer, and we'll see you at Puck Drop next season.